What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel. Wanted to talk a little bit today about some godly gear, and more importantly, where is the best place to farm it? Well, anytime you go and use that best word, you're throwing in something that has qualifiers and something that is opinion-based. So the best anything in any game, in any category, is always going to be qualified by something else. And in a lot of times, people's opinions of what is best is dependent on what they are using as a qualifying trait. For example, what's the best defense in the game, say? Well, what do you mean by best? You know, is it the most damage? Is it the most AoE potential? Is it the most range? The amount of damage or DPS that a tower can do versus how much damage done it can get done can be heavily based on other factors other than just its damage per second output. So things like range into consideration. Well, with godly gear, there is no difference. Do you want the fastest waves? Do you want the most chillaxing experience? It's really up to you. The important thing to know is just the information as far as how you can get godly gear. Now, first off, as with most things in the game, you can always buy a godly piece of gear from another player. However, if you want to find this stuff naturally, you're going to want to either craft it yourself with godly orbs, which of course you will get from selling godly gear, or you can find the godly gear yourself. Now, to find godly gear is going to start dropping at wave 31 in survival, and then additionally, you're going to have the chance, or you're going to guarantee a godly piece from an exquisite chest. Now, exquisite chest has a chance, a 20% flat static chance to drop every survival checkpoint past wave 31. So if you're doing, say, wave 71, you're going to have the exact same chance of getting exquisite chest as if you were doing wave 1071. So it doesn't matter what wave you're doing as far as getting the exquisite chest. They're a raw 20% chance. RNG is RNG. This is not additive. There is no pity roll or anything like that. So it's a straight 20% chance each time. I've gone 80 waves without getting one, and I've also gone checkpoints where I got them back to back to back up to 4 times in a row. So RNG is in the mix with the exquisite chest, and it is just a matter of playing through the game. Now, as far as the ground drop chance, these are going to be affected by what map you're playing. I showed this chart off several times here from patch notes. Now, one thing I want to throw out is there was another hotfix after the hotfix that had this chart in the patch notes, and the Gates of Dragonfall is actually a 50% decrease now, not a 30% decrease. However, one important thing to note, these increases and decreases are a multiplicative value based off of a very, very low number. So RNG is a factor. So with that in mind, like in theory, looking at this chart, the Gates of Dragonfall would have the lowest chance of getting a godly drop on the ground, where a map like Plunderer's Paradise or the Wildest West would have the highest chance of getting a godly drop. However, if you have good luck on Gates of Dragonfall and RNG is in your favor that day, you could end up getting considerably more godly drops there than if you had a bad luck day on the Wildest West. So RNG is RNG. These percentages of increases and decreases are a very, very small difference. Like if you have an item that is a 0.5%, say 0.5% chance to drop, and then you have another item that is a 0.25% chance to drop, you would actually need to do millions of runs to actually get a realistic result or guess as far as how many of these drops you're going to get per run. An individual player, even playing multiple accounts, is just not going to have a large enough of a sample size to really notice a difference, and you will have good days and you will have bad days when it comes to farming up survival godly gear. Now, taking a look through the chart once again, I've mentioned it before, I'm a big fan of Plunderer's Paradise. I feel like the map runs relatively smooth. It has a nice amount of DU. It is a slower running map. However, it has one of the highest chances of godly drops. Now, with this in mind, this is the map I choose to do. Now, this is not a map for everybody. Not everyone likes Plunderer's Paradise. Not everyone wants to do a map that's going to take a little bit longer to run. So, which map do you want to do? There's no wrong answer here. The important thing is that you're enjoying your experience and you're running a map that you feel very good about doing 1,000 waves of, not all in one sitting, of course, but doing a map over and over again. Do you like that map enough to keep going back to it? Well, for me personally, Plunderer's Paradise is that map. I think the map is gorgeous. I love running around and looking at all the little hidey holes and all the fun things on Plunderer's Paradise. I can do that map over and over and over again and be very happy with my experience. If you take a look through, though, at the maps, well, the map that has the lowest chance of godly drop rates is the Gates of Dragonfall. But with that in mind, that map is still... it's the easiest survival map to climb to higher waves. It is also very, very AFKable, even using an alt. So, although it has the lowest chance of getting a natural godly ground drop, it also has that chill factor, which a lot of people are going to be looking for. Now, another important thing to note as far as godly drops, they start having the potential to drop at wave 31, and the higher you go in checkpoints, the greater the chance of these drops. Now, this caps out at wave 151, so going above wave 151, you're never going to get a higher chance of getting godly drops. And then, of course, additionally, at wave 31, although a godly does have a chance to drop, it's a practically non-existent chance. It's a very, very low chance to drop. You are going to see some of them. However, as far as general farming goes, doing wave 31 starts just because godly gear starts dropping there is probably not the best move, unless that is just the state of the game where you are at personally as a player and you're not powerful enough to do the higher tier content. I personally like to do wave 71 starts or even wave 131 starts and then let it go as long as I want to play on that particular day. So that's just personally how I choose to play it. How you choose to play it, of course, is going to be up to you. But know that there are modifiers associated with each map that you do. Now, as I mentioned before, I can't stress it enough. Do not base your decision 100% on what map you play based off of the survival godly drop chance adjustments. Make sure you're enjoying your experience. Make sure you're enjoying your grind. There's not going to be any shortage of grind, so there's lots of opportunities to play lots of different maps. But as far as maps that do have an increase over the base drop chance, you've got a Little Horn Valley at a 20% increase. You've got Assault on Throne Room at a 12% increase. Rampart Siege at a 10% increase. Nimbus Reach has a 10% increase. The Dead Road and Siphon Sight D both have 10% increases. Dragonfall Sewers has a 5% increase. Buried Bastille has a 5% increase. Unholy Catacombs has a 12% increase. Crumbled Bulwark has a 5% increase. Embermount Volcano has a 10% increase. Drakenfall Resort has a 10% increase. Drakenfrost Keep has a 15% increase. Plunderer's Paradise and the Wildest West have a 20% increase. And then Crystal Mine and Lava Caverns each have a 5% increase. So as I mentioned, don't base your experience 100% off of those, as although it is an increase, it is a very, very small number, and RNG is still going to play a very big factor in your experience. But hopefully this helps direct everyone a little bit in which direction they want to go and how they want to make their choices. in their grind for godly gear in Dungeon Defenders 2. So that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.